Good day. This is Thumbs United, streaming photography content from Photations and Photation Store. This is medium format film editing. This is the image I had up last time before I ended the stream yesterday. So let's get back to editing it. I already edited the first half on the last stream, but then I had to go abruptly. So it helps if I actually click on Photoshop. Here we go. So I think I figured out the issue. I mean, it's a little annoying. My graphics card is a little underpowered. It was like a medium high end when I got it, but that was in like 2012. And the version of Photoshop also came out in 2012. But my PC's been through a lot of upgrades, so Windows 10 is kind of taking its toll on the graphics card. So even though it worked when I originally had Photoshop and everything, that was back in Windows 10. And so now I have to, like, if I'm doing video gaming on my PC, I have to go and change the settings, and so the same settings for gaming aren't the same as for streaming Photoshop. So what I have to do is I have to make a preset, but a Photoshop preset and then a gaming preset. But I'm still trying to figure out the best settings for both. So that's kind of the issue I was having before. Last night. So I think the problem worked out. Photoshop is working much better today. But yeah. And I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I was like trying to remove a bunch of spots that weren't in the images. And so it got kind of annoying because I was like, is that a spot on the image or is it a spot on my monitor? So I finally essentially washed my screen and removed all the dust and all the spots on the screen. So everything's much clearer and I don't spend so much time on a spot that's not actually on the image. So like that. And then I was going to try to stream earlier, but it just didn't work out. Today was my day off, and I was like, oh, I'm going to write 2 programs today. I wrote none, and kind of what happened was I figured out that chapter 4, there was no homework, so I was just like, yeah, I just did the reading, so I didn't have to write a program. But then I was going to do chapter 5. And the irony is that chapter 5, I don't have to write a program either. But I have to use Access. And I was like, ugh. I hate Access. Like, I really hate it. And, like, there's an entire class that I took, devoted to Access. And I passed it. I mean, I passed it well. But, very happy not using Access ever. Which is funny because I'm going to have to use it a lot. Because it's like the premier database program. So that's what I'm doing for chapter 5. I have to make a database. And then I believe chapter 6 is I have to write a program that accesses the database and everything. But yeah, after I do the database, I'm going to be over halfway done with the class. So it took me a week to do half the class, which is like, I'm kind of happy with. I mean, it's funny because the class is 4 months long normally. It's normally only offered in winter semester. But I'm doing it in the spring semester, which is only 2 months. So it's already accelerated. And then I finished half of it in 1 week. So that makes me happy. Because it is stressful. It's like, oh, I have to, I only have 2 months how to finish it. But it's like, I'm already halfway through. So we finished this image. And I'm going to move to the next one. It's a little bit complicated because I was working ahead. Earlier in the morning, I was doing a lot of the testing with the graphics card and everything. And so I would do 2 or 3 images. Okay. Hold on. Okay, that should be. Yes, this is where I left off. So I skipped. You guys didn't get me. You people didn't get to see me do 3 images. I did 3 test images, but this is the next one. This is in the Roman Forum in Rome, and it's almost like a park. That's really cool because it has like all these like original buildings and everything, and then it has a lot of artifacts I've taken there, and you can walk through this huge park of all this like original stuff, original architecture from the Roman period. And the park alone was one of my favorite things in going to Italy. I mean, I really enjoyed Rome. The majority of my class really liked going to okay, see, it's doing it again. I'm going to restart Photoshop again. So hold on. But Rome was really my favorite place to visit in Italy. Venice was cool, but you get a little seasick there, not because it's moving or anything, but all the buildings are little, they're all kind of leaning, like each block kind of leans a different way, so it's really cool because it's like, subconsciously you notice it in Venice. You're like, oh, it's kind of cartoonish and kind of like, it's almost kind of like walking through a dream. Like all the things are kind of, not lopsided, but you don't realize how used to seeing, all buildings being exactly level and everything. So everything's a little crooked there. And then most of my class enjoyed Florence the most, but my favorite was Rome. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna start off at the top, and already there's a lot of problems to work out. Half of me wonders if it's even a graphics problem, if it's not like a RAM problem, because it seems to be every time I open the second image, it slows down. So I don't know if it's having problems ejecting the memory or the RAM from the first image, because they're huge images. Each one is about 100 megabytes, and it's a TIFF file, so it's not like raw like the file format, but it is uncompressed, and it's like, I think it's 10-bit, but it's 10-bit black and white, so it's not as extreme as 10-bit color. if I was shooting like with a digital camera, what you really want is like 12-bit, a color 12 or 14-bit. But with black and white, you really only need 8-bit. 10 bits kind of overkill. And the bit is, it's kind of the range. So for black and white, it's like the range of black or white you can get per pixel. So a 10-bit address is a lot bigger than instead of having like 4 shades, you have like 10 shades of black and white. But with the bits, it's like instead of having thousands of shades of black or white, you have millions or billions per pixel. And so the more pixel bits you have, the higher quality the image, the more detail there is, and also the file size goes up an incredible amount. And the bits only really matter in kind of raw formats, so RAW or TIFF formats. They matter a little bit if you're shooting in JPEG, but the whole point of JPEG is it's so compressed that it really doesn't matter, because everything else is getting really compressed. And kind of talking about the progress on the New York project. It's I just checked in. About 3/4 of the encoding process is finished, which is like yay. And so then after this, I'm gonna set the Windows machine to convert some more files, and hopefully that's the last time the Windows machine has to convert it. And then tomorrow the Linux box will be compressing it and putting it in the right format, and then hopefully for Creative Wednesday I will have set up the Lightroom libraries, and we'll start editing the photographs. And the photographs include 3D photographs. It includes some stuff I'm doing for VR. And then it also includes traditional photography, but digital. So it's digital 35mm photographs. Not 80mm like I'm working on now, and not film. I really enjoy working with the medium format. And normally I don't have to do this much like restoration, but the film is old. It's not as old as you think. It's only from 2009. But it is expensive. Like one roll of a medium format film costs like $5 or $6. And so you might be thinking, oh, that's not that bad. But medium format, I do the 120 rolls. And so that means I can take 12 pictures for each roll of film. It's not like 35mm where you get 24 or 36 exposures. So I'm playing with the idea of there's a new project I want to do. And I want to do the whole thing in film. But I might end up doing some of it with digital. But originally I wanted to do all medium format. But I'm thinking what I'm going to do now is do 35mm black and white, and then also do medium format black and white as well. This is going to take forever in this spot. Ton of stuff I have to clear up. So I'm planning on doing about an hour stream. I might do 2 hours if I have enough energy. I was kind of in a food coma a little while ago. My family and I, we had a hard time deciding where we wanted to eat. We went to go get dog food, but the dog food place, the place we were getting the dog food, is a half hour away, and we were late and they were closing, but they were having a sale, so it was like, oh, we got to get there. And we got 3/4 of the way there, and we're like, we're not going to make it. The store's going to be closed before we get there. So it was about 20 minutes riding back, and the whole time I was just looking up places to eat, and I was like, you guys want to eat here? They were like, no. And I was like, how about here? No. I went through the list of like every restaurant in the city we were close to and by our house. They were all vetoed. And I was like, seriously? But everyone wanted to eat. They just couldn't agree on a spot. And then everyone finally decided on Olive Garden. It was like, seriously? Of all the places you guys decide on Olive Garden? Which I'm fine with. I wanted Italian food. But it was like we already went through like the list of everything, and Olive Garden was like one of the first things I said, and everyone vetoed it. So after about 20 minutes, we decided to go to Olive Garden, and we got to Olive Garden, and we're sitting in the parking lot, and the line of people, the line didn't just go outside of Olive Garden, it went into the parking lot. I guess everyone's graduating and everything, and so there were huge lines, and we're like, we're not waiting for that. And so we ended up driving to a different Olive Garden, and it was a 40-minute drive to the next one. So that was kind of funny. So I came back from there. So I'm really full. But I got a Dr. Pepper and stuff so I can stay up a little later. Oh, but so yesterday, I almost forgot, this is a different story. I know it sounds like I eat out a lot, but I usually don't. I usually eat out like once a month. But I just feel better not eating out as much because it's like all junk food and everything. And that was like one of the main ways I was able to like lose so much weight. Anyway, so yesterday I went to Del Taco, and so we go in, it's 10 at night. Well, it wasn't 10, it was 9:40, and we go in, and there's like a long line of people, So I'm like, okay, we'll wait in line. And she has this one person is ordering forever. And they were like complaining about this stuff, and I guess they got his order wrong or something. But he was a really strange person. I mean, like, kind of a little bit like unstable. So I was like, oh. But so he ordered his food. They were making it, and then he was like, oh, what about my free shake? So they agreed to give him like this free shake, and the lady was like, oh, I have to make it, but I have to take care of the other customers. The cashier was the one who was going to make it. So there were like 7 other employees at this Del Taco, and they were just standing around. And it's like, and so it was kind of weird. It was like, can nobody else, make this guy shake? But I guess the person working the cashier was the only one who had training for the shake machine. Okay, it's lagging again. So I'm gonna quit it and restart. And so he's ordering, so he's waiting, and so then they give him his burrito, and he starts eating it. There's like the spot for the cash register, and then there's the spot right next to it where you pick up your food, and he's just eating standing there. It's just like, that was really gross and weird. And I was like, oh my goodness. And so then they give him his shake, and he's like, there's no whipped cream, and they're like, we don't put whipped cream on the children's shakes. And he was like, oh, I want whipped cream. And he's just like, this guy was just taking forever. But on top of that, it was just like really hectic. Like there was one person who was complaining, oh, my shift's over. And so she was like the only one cooking. And but she was just like standing around. And so there were like 5 or 6 people all standing there, and she's just like, why doesn't anyone else start cooking? And it was just really inefficient. And then the manager came out, and she like yelling at everyone, and it was a really hostile environment, not just for the employees, but for like me as the customer. It was just like, oh my goodness, I want to get out of here. And just yelling nonstop, and it's just like, the people inside the building, we can hear you. And then the cashier changed, and we got a different person, and we had a coupon, and we gave him the coupon, and the lady was like, oh, I have to get my manager to see how to take it, because it's like one of those coupons you get from filling out a survey. And the manager came up to the cash register, with us, right there in front of her. She's like, you press, 257. It's really simple. Why can't you get it? Anyone can get it. And it's just like, wow. And the manager was just like really obnoxious. And it kind of made me thankful that I don't work. I really enjoyed working in retail, but there's a couple of times when you have a manager who's not just condescending, but like really rude and pretty much angry. He just yells at people all the time for nothing, and it does make the working environment worse. And for almost no reason. And there was this one time when my manager, kind of switching stories away from Del Taco, but there was this one time when this manager was that I was working with, she had like 2 or 3 days off, And this was when I was working freight, and we had a different manager. I was just, the job was just so enjoyable and stuff. It was just like everyone was calm, everyone, worked better, and I was just like, wow, work doesn't have to be painful and anxiety inducing. And then our old manager came back and was like, oh no. Went back to getting, she just yelled at people nonstop. Move faster, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, everyone is moving as fast as they can, but and the irony is, like, the yelling gets, stressful. But there's so much of it that you kind of start tuning it out. So it has, like, almost no effect. So yeah, that Del Taco manager reminded me of kind of, my bad experiences with, bad managers. And then it kind of reminded me of, like, the good ones you have. It's just like, man, I appreciate those ones so much more. Because even with, like, the good managers, not that I would, like, get in trouble, but they're like, oh, you need to do this, and that. And it's just like, no problem. I'll do it. Strive to be better. But when the angry manager starts yelling at you, it's just like, it ruins your day. You don't want to come back to work and everything. It's just like, it's just nicer people. It's easier to accept constructive criticism versus somebody, like, yelling at you, you stupid, blah, blah, blah. Why didn't you do this? But in general, like, I have legitimate high anxiety. I'm, like, anxious about everything, and it just helps dealing with nicer people. So this image is taking a little longer than usual. There's a lot of dirt and dust on this image. That's why I'm not moving as fast as I usually do. Oh, and then I finally, episode 7 of Live to Tape is coming out tomorrow, and I'm finally, like, coming out and saying what story time is. It is an ASMR series that I started that's supposed to be, relaxing, and I record it using binaural microphones. So what that means is I space out two microphones, and one microphone on the left is recording audio to the left channel, and then the microphone on the right records audio to the right channel, and it makes it so that each channel hears something slightly different, so the sound is more 3D, but it's also, the definition is a lot better. Right now I'm recording with one microphone, and that's outputting to stereo, but with the binaural it's actual two unique microphones recording into stereo. And so with episode 7, I'm finally, putting out in the title, this is ASMR and everything. And it's funny because when I first started doing story time, I didn't put it in the title or in the description. I would put it in the video tags for YouTube, and I got a lot of people I kind of look up to in the ASMR community. They were like, liking some of my social media stuff, and I was like, they're finding me, they know. But so that was nice that they kind of were like, finding my content, even though I wasn't, overtly saying it was. But now Live to Tape is going to be public about it. I was just kind of nervous about entering in the ASMR community, kind of doing things that are not visual triggers, but just pure audio with time-lapse photography and everything. My hand's falling asleep, which is getting a little annoying. Oh, and so I forgot what I was telling you. So episode 7 is coming out to YouTube. It's the story of Alibaba. It aired first. Well, first it went to Patreon, and with Patreon, all 3 versions of Live to Tape go up 2 weeks to a month early before it comes public. And the 3 versions of each episode, one is 2D, which is just regular video footage, and then there's the 3D version for 3D TVs and 3D monitors. It's on YouTube. It's in the side-by-side format, so that's like the most common 3D format. So you can just if you have a 3D TV, you just put on YouTube, and then you put on the video, and then you have to put your TV in the 3D mode, and then you just select side by side, and then it will play the video in 3D. And then there is the final version, which is the VR version, and it's for cell phone VR, and you just put on your like VR goggles, like uh, Cardboard or Google Daydream. And then there's no head tracking, so if you turn your head left or right, the video doesn't move, but it is. It's still a way to view. I call it fixed view VR, so it's stationary, but it's still in 3D, and it's really the best way to watch it because it's in full resolution, and so the upload is in 4K, because you get the left eye for the 3D is at full resolution 1080p, and then the right eye is also at full resolution 1080p. So if you have a phone with 4K, a 4K display, you can view it at the highest possible resolution. And so all three of those versions are uploaded all at once on Patreon. But then they trickle out to YouTube. And usually Twitch and YouTube, the 2D versions come out at the same time. But I just felt like having it come to Twitch first. And then, but the 3D and the VR version, they only come to YouTube. Okay, I have to restart again. Hold on. So, the 2D version is coming to YouTube, episode 7, which is the story of Alibaba. And then next week, the 3D version. And then the week after that, the VR version will come to YouTube. You know what, I'm gonna do something stupid, and hopefully the stream doesn't crash. But I'm gonna change some settings. It shouldn't matter for the stream. Okay, here we go. Starting Photoshop. And let's see. I'm just double checking I got this area. And the hard part is I don't really know if the settings worked until we finish a whole image or start the second image. It starts to lag after like 20 minutes of use, which I'm sure has something to do with OBS and Photoshop not playing nice together. do. Even though there's no spots here, still want to figure out what's under there. It's just kind of a bug that shows up sometimes, that box, where for whatever reason it loads nothing into there. Okay. Looks like we're done with this image. We'll move on to the next one. Okay, this is the next one. And I'm going to save it. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll start editing it. This is in a museum in Florence. And it was a pretty cool museum. But I'll be right back. Okay, and I'm back. I'm going to start at the top and work my way down. I think there's just going to be a little bit of dust in this corner, not so much for the rest of the image. Most of it looked fine. Look at this giant thing. I'm gonna remove it. That's funny, when I went to Olive Garden, I was so happy. I was like, oh, how many of us are? Because I ran in to put the name in and I was like, 4. And then we all sat at the table and it's just like, oh wait, there's only 3 of us. And I thought for sure like there was 4 of us. I don't know what I was thinking. Added an extra person. My mom was like, oh, you probably thought one of your sisters was here. Like, I don't know what I was thinking. Because like I did think about it. I was like, there are totally 4 of us here. I was like, nope, only 3 of us. Maybe somebody was with us in spirit, and I accidentally, like subconsciously, counted them. I don't know what that is, but I think it's supposed to be there. So I'm not going to remove it. And it's late. It's like 11:30. I thought there was no way I'd stream till midnight, but it looks like I could do that. So that's going to kind of be my goal, to stream into midnight. My mom found this special tea, and it's really for my grandmother, but I'm gonna try drinking it too. It's supposed to help with like anxiety and kind of nervousness, but it's also, that's just how it would help me. My grandmother is, well, one, she's not sleeping at night, but she's really kind of like fidgety, and it's almost, it looks like somebody with Parkinson's, like rocking back and forth and kind of shaking, but it's not. I'm not saying like she can control it. She's not doing it on purpose, but it does happen more when she's stressed or bored or something like that. There's like a term for it. It's like akinesia or something, and it's part of the symptoms of the dementia she has. So it's not like a surprise that it's coming up, but hopefully this tea has been like highly recommended for fixing that. So hopefully it works out well, because we're having a big problem with her sleeping. I mean, like, she's not sleeping at all. She'll be up she'll just lie in bed, wiggling and everything, and she's like, but she does sleep all day, so she's getting some sleep in. It's just not at the right time. It's like very short cat naps, which is usually what happens when you get older. Not sleeping at night, but usually once you get older, you need less sleep, and then you do start to take more cat naps. But this is like an extreme. So we almost got through 2 images without Photoshop lagging, but it's starting to. So we're about halfway done with this image, and I'll try to finish it, and hopefully it lets me. Then the next image I'll restart again. So almost done. Looks like I just had to go across 2 or 3 more times, and then this image will be done. I just blinked and my eyes almost glued shut. They're like super dry, I guess. Felt like my eyeball was gonna fall out. Okay, so this area needs a little bit of work, more than average. I don't like how it's lagging so much, but we are going to suffer through it. Like, how did it even come up with that? My cursor was nowhere like that pattern. So I'm just going to go across this time and then do the bottom, the last bottom strip. I'm not even doing anything right now, it's just catching up. Okay. So it looks like this bottom half is more dirty than the top, which is unusual. Usually the top has more dust. That's just from the way it was scanned in. And I'm not even touching it right now. It's just catching up. That's how bad the lag was. And as soon as it catches up, I'm going to save it, because I do not want it to crash. So now just gonna wait for it to catch up before moving over. And it's not even a processor problem. I'm at 12% of utilization. There is a ton to do over here. Okay. And then once this section is done, I'm just going to go to the bottom, double check that everything on the bottom side is done. And then I will be restarting the Photoshops, and hopefully it works better. So I should have restarted when I was halfway done with this image. This is getting painful. Okay. Just going along the bottom. I kind of ran out of stories to talk about. And this is frustrating me a little bit. Just a little bit. I'm really excited to be finished with school. And then hopefully I'll be doing this more often. More photo editing and photography. I'm gonna branch out. I've done a lot of event photography in the past, but nothing that I post publicly. And I give it to like the organization or school, and then they publish the photos in their own pamphlet or yearbook or whatever. But I'd like to start doing that again. Okay, we're done. And then I want to start getting into portraiture. Make sure this is saved. Close it. I'm changing some of the settings for my graphics card. And hopefully everything doesn't crash. Oh my goodness, I left you guys without an image or anything. And I have to change the music. This is just too much. Ten more minutes till midnight. Success. This one's an interesting one. So this is in Florence, and that building right here in the middle, kind of in the distance, that's Brunelleschi's dome. So we're at the Duomo. That's also what it's called. So we're going to continue editing. I don't think we're going to... This will be a very quick image. I guess not. There's a lot of spots here. And like these aren't actual spots on the wall or on the building. These are speckles on the film. I guess guess I spoke too soon. Just going across. Once I'm finished with this class, I plan on one, doing more art galleries, and two, I have a lot of books I want to finish. One of which is a book of this film that I'm editing, the medium format film from Italy. So hopefully these photographs will be done soon. I'm about halfway, more than halfway. I guess I'm 3/4 of the way done with all the images. So 2018 is going to be the year of the book. The book and the booklets, which are just smaller books. Not so much in like the book size, but as in like more like the number of pages. I'm going to start releasing a couple of books that are they're only going to be like 20 pages. But the book size is going to be huge. It's going to be 8.5 by, I believe it's 8.5 by 12. So that's a bigger size, and it's going to be in this higher quality photo paper. It's going to be this semi-gloss, almost like a pearl paper. So the booklets is something I have to do. Then I have to go out and find a bunch of frames, and I'm gonna start framing a lot of my work, because that's like the biggest problem I have. It's like I print a bunch of stuff, and like I have, easily 200 or 300, photos that are they're ready to go. But I just, I don't have one. If I framed them all, I wouldn't have enough space in my house for them. But I do have to start framing them and getting them out there, which is part of the reason why I want to start getting into more art galleries. And that's where my website helps. Because a lot of times they're like, oh, we want to see your portfolio, and then with the SmugMug store, the Flotation store that's made on SmugMug, their app, I can download all my photos to my cell phone or to my iPad, and then I can just show them all on that. So that helps. And then if they let's say I'm just emailing the gallery and don't go in person, I can always link to my blog, Flotations, or show them the store, and they're like, oh, you actually are a photographer. A lot of people are skeptical when you say you do art, and then they're like, oh, you do photography. It's like, oh, that's not really art. It's like, oh, it's kind of annoying. But then they see like my photographs, and they're like, oh, okay, that counts. It's like, thank you. A lot of people assume it's just like, I don't know what they assume. So we're almost done with this image, even though it's slightly more dirty than average. And again, this is another night photography, night photo. Just gonna Oh, and then something I saw it a while ago, but I'm still excited for it, is Apple's releasing ProRes RAW, and that has me excited because it's like all the features of RAW, but it's in like a standardized format of ProRes. Because that's the annoying thing about RAW, and I'm not talking about like RAW with photographs like the CR2 files. I'm talking about like RAW with film cameras, like video cameras for like cinema, is that each one is like its own proprietary codec, and you have to use like their plugins to be able to use it with other software. And to be honest, I really don't trust I don't really trust what they're doing with RAW as it like actually being RAW, because you can't, I mean, you just don't know what the, like what the actual bit rates are and everything. And like a lot of people complain about the red RAW being like not exactly what it advertises and everything in the pixel formats. But okay, we're gonna move to the next one. And that one worked out really well. And this one is, I remember, I think it was not too good looking. So we're gonna, I think there were a lot of dust on here. You know what, I'm gonna restart just to be safe. One more minute till midnight, and I will have made my goal. Streaming till midnight. Okay, we're back. And happy Monday, everyone. Happy Monday. Yeah, it's already feeling better. So I guess that's just going to be my fix. I have to restart it every time I open a new image. I probably wouldn't have this problem if I was editing my digital photographs, because those are like 25 megapixels and not 80. These are 70 megapixel photographs. So that's probably why it starts lagging after a while. And we'll see how fast this photograph goes. I remember there being a lot of problems with it. There were problems like not color grading, but editing the curves and the brightness and darkness. And it kind of made the spots more pronounced. Yeah, a lot of problems here. Kind of streak marks. I'm just gonna try to get rid of some of the streaks. Kind of funny story, but the neighbors, they have, I don't know how many kids they have more than one, and I think one's in high school and one's younger, and maybe not in high school, but the younger one is she keeps feeding her dog, which is like, it's a little weird that you feed somebody else's dog, like your neighbor's dog. But and the other thing is, I don't know, I guess she thinks she's doing it on the sly, but we've seen her do it a couple of times, and so she's made friends with her dogs, and it's funny because we're able to let our dogs out into the yard, and they can just kind of roam freely, and so, but usually like when we open the door, they come running back to come in the house, and so we open the door and we called her dog's name, and didn't come, nothing. I'm like, that's weird. So then I went into our yard, and I went to the front, and no dog. And then I went to the backyard, and there, next to a tree, sitting on top of the hill, is our dog, and she's just staring at the neighbor's house. And I was like, seriously, Zoe, you make one new friend, and then she's, being creepy on them, just staring at them, saying, come give me food, you'll give me snacks. And I called her, and she was like, oh. So she ran past me, and then she went to the other side of the house, and still went to go look for the treats from the neighbor's kid. But yeah, it's pretty. I mean, that part, it's weird and it's funny, because like at least our dogs are making friends with the neighbor. But the kind of sad thing is, like, they had a labradoodle, but it died of cancer, which is terrible. I had a black lab growing up, and he died of cancer as well. A lot of it is like the food. The dog food is like really horrible, and even like the brands that are like, oh, like Science Diet, everyone thinks that's like a great brand, but it's like one of the worst. And even like the high end, supposedly healthy food, they've gotten downhill so much. And so like if you look up what actually goes into dog food and everything, it's just, I would not feeding my dogs any of that stuff. We feed our dogs raw food, so they get their meat and stuff, and it's all human grade food, and some of it is like ground up and stuff. And there's a place we get it from called Meat Carnivore, and they have all this organic meat, and it's really good for them. And then we get them a variety. They get like turkey or beef and other stuff, and then we actually mix organic vegetables in, and so we make like a puree, so our dogs are really happy with it. And kind of the plus side is like we know exactly what's going into the food, with like the kibble and everything. Like they put sawdust in there, they'll put all the parts they can't sell, and some of it's rotten and everything. And like the kibble and everything, it's so like bad and kind of toxic to the dogs that most dogs, if they had it normally, they wouldn't eat it. But then what the companies do is like they spray the smell of like flavoring. They spray onto the kibble so that the dogs eat it and like want to eat it, even though it's not that great for them. So that's kind of like how bad the kibble and everything is. So we're about a third of the way, and I think we'll do one more image after this. I'm getting a little tired, but yeah. And so for this week, technically, since it's Monday already, it's been Monday for 9 minutes. Later today, I'll be doing another creative stream around the same time, like 7 or 9 p.m. And then Tuesday, I'm recording the Mass Effect Let's Play episode 2, and I'm recording that live. And the reason why it's not like a live stream of gaming is the game, playing the video game, I think it was already captured and recorded, and I'm doing the voiceover live, so it's like half being live. Like I can't play video games and stream at the same time, because I don't know, it's like I can't talk properly, and I feel like whenever I'm live streaming video games, it's just like me grunting into the microphone or getting frustrated. I just feel like my sentences don't even, they make sense, but it's just not that great. It's like talking to someone who's not even paying attention to what they're talking about. Like this I can do, this is easier, but so that's why I would do the Let's Plays. And so instead of me recording it, live to tape and then releasing it as a premiere, I'm just gonna do it live on Twitch. So that's the Let's Plays, and I record those on Tuesday, and I usually start around 7 p.m. And then Wednesday, hopefully, we'll start working on the photography for the New York project. And then Thursday is the rerun of the Let's Play I record on Tuesday. And then Friday is more creative, and then the weekend, depending on what's going on, is going to be another weekend creative. Okay, I'm gonna restart. I'm just gonna start restarting at the first sign of trouble. And I'm starting to get a little bit of trouble. A little bit of lag. Okay. Yeah, we were right here. So it's much better now. And this is also the Duomo, which is a dome Brunelleschi built. And Brunelleschi was kind of a pill. I read high school. I read a book about how he came up with the construction for it, and then in college I studied him a little bit, and he what is the word? Well, first, in order to build this cathedral, he had to win a contest. There was a contest to see, whose design could be the best. And so he won it, but then the church was like, well, we don't really know if he's up to building it, so they hired a second architect along with Brunelleschi to build it. And Brunelleschi hated this other architect, and they were kind of rivals. And so then Brunelleschi did this trick where he said, okay, I'm going to take a break for a week, and he's going to have the other architect, start, working. So the other architect started kind of pre-building parts of the thing, and then when Brunelleschi came back, he explained how everything this other architect did was wrong. He's not going to redo the work. It's going to cost him extra money. And it was all the other architect's fault. And so they fired the other architect, and then Brunelleschi became the person to solely design this cathedral. And what's interesting about this cathedral is they wanted a really high dome, but over a long distance without any flying buttresses, which are like supports that go on the outside. So there was no real way to do that. So inside the dome, which is up here, there's actually two domes, and the inner dome holds up the outer dome, and so both of them end up supporting each other, and it allows for a dome across a wider space with no, and it's just a freestanding dome. On the inside, there's no arches or anything supporting the dome. So architecturally, there's great significance because that was the first time it was really able to be done. Okay, this image is done. This is it. It was really foggy that day. I'm going to move on to the next one. So yeah, there's 18 more photographs to do. And I've done over 35. And let me open the... So the first section I did was 35, and then the other section was 41. So there's like 76, I think, photographs that I've edited and removed dust from. Okay, so this is the last image of the night and of the early morning. And of course it's going to give me problems, but that's okay. We just ignore them for now. And then this image is from Florence, Italy. And it's at one of the museums. It's going by pretty fast so far. Still gonna be the last image of the night, even though it's being good. Already a third of the way done. Now we're halfway done. Okie dokie. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do after this. I think there's a video or two I'm gonna watch, and then that's gonna be off to bed. Yeah, this is really at the bottom. So I want to thank everyone for tuning in. Technically later today, I'll be having another creative stream around 7 p.m. Between 7 and 9 p.m. And then Tuesday, recording the Let's Play live at 7 p.m. And then Wednesday, another creative. Thursday is the Let's Play rerun of Mass Effect 2, Episode 2. And then, what is the word? Friday is creative again. And then the weekend will probably be creative. And Wednesday I'll be working on the New York project. So a lot of interesting things coming up. And it's going to be more chill streaming, more photography work and everything. So thanks for tuning in. I'll see you later today. Bye-bye.